are. We're live, whatever that means. I'm not exactly sure, but we're live, Seth. And it's the Marketing and Sales Power kind of hour. Can we call it that?
Almost hour. Moments? Power moments?
Power
Power
Moments. I think
moments.
we'll rename it. But this is our first one. Needless to say, I was late getting on here and I was late getting Seth the link. But just like everything great in life, sometimes you build the airplane after you jump off the
Yeah, and
nest.
I'm sure that there were so many people just clamoring at the doors for us to open and be let
They're
into
waiting.
this. So many, so
There
many.
were people that moved meetings and like canceled daycare and dropped their kids off early, all of it, and probably went to happy hour early just for this.
Hopefully. Happy moment.
Cool. So let me set some quick context and then we're going to jump straight to you, Seth. So I find in my journey of 32 years in healthcare, and that's not all my business journey because my business journey is way shorter, is that this term marketing and the term sales get mixed up a lot. And by the way, this is called the marketing and sales power moment because marketing comes before sales and great marketing feeds sales and sales can feed back information. So I don't believe it's sales and marketing, it's marketing and sales. So I want to talk more about this. We're both in healthcare. We You do marketing for healthcare, you do sales for healthcare, I do sales, internal sales for healthcare. So I think it's a great combo to get some information out there because I love the information you share on the marketing side. As I said today, it's a breath of fresh air, only because I think of a better analogy to use. So, Seth, you are a breath of fresh air. So, why don't you start out, Seth, by telling us about marketing and what marketing is to you and your philosophy behind marketing? Let's start there.
Sure. I believe marketing is a vehicle. It is a tool used to convey information. It is tip of the spear. Um, it is a way for people to get information, and marketing is a tool that can cause people to lean into the context of your marketing. What is involved in your marketing? Getting people to not only become aware of something, but educate as to what it is. And in the space of healthcare, um, sales just feels gross in healthcare. Healthcare shouldn't be sold, it shouldn't be transactional, even though it is. I believe that, you know, as long as patients have the opportunity to decide, in some regards, who becomes responsible for their care, there should always be a strong educational aspect, right? And there's a lot of clinicians and physicians and specialists who are very averse to sales, and it's not really, they don't like to sell. That's not what they do. And I get that. And I think a lot of it is because, like, well, someone has something wrong with them and you shouldn't just sell them the solution. These are your options based on the prognosis and diagnosis and like how we're going to proceed. So, um, essentially, I could have just stopped at marketing is a vehicle, but I had to talk
No,
obviously.
I think all the rest of that's important. I wrote down a couple words because I like the way you start. It's a vehicle, right? It's marketing is not one thing. This thing about getting information, leaning in. So I liken this to awareness. You said the word aware, which is my favorite, right? How is someone aware of you and your product so that they can make the and you said this too, so they can make the best decision for themselves. So my sales strategy, right? So connecting this to marketing, one of the most important things I do when someone becomes aware of your brand. They research your brand. They decide to connect with your brand. Literally, they make a phone call, they fill out a web form. The very first thing I teach in my sales process is we must find the source of their awareness of us because then we can tie in better to why they are connected. Because I need to schedule physical therapy. Well, okay. How'd you find out about us? What do you need from us? Well, I saw your website. I saw your Facebook ad. Oh, tell me more. What did you see on the website? That will that will turn a awkward sales process into a conversation that will lead that person to a better choice for themselves if you start to check the boxes. So I love the way you describe marketing, because to me that then gets handed down to that same mindset to the sales team about how to manage something that we all don't like, that we all think doesn't belong, because I believe it does belong. Yet my whole thing is the objective of a great sales team is to listen and ask better questions.
100%. I think the objective of a sales team is, look, especially when we're dealing with potential patients who are experiencing pain, I think the L word is where it's at. You got to listen, because patients, most times, they just need to be heard. Bonus points if they could be understood and empathized with. But, someone who's at the front desk who is charged with, patient intake and demographic forms and scheduling and some light billing stuff, you don't have the bandwidth to devote 10 minutes to listen to this nervous, anxious, scared, uncomfortable, in pain person about what their challenges are. And when you can listen to them, they most times will not get off the phone until they get that appointment, right? And they will be excited about that appointment. They will think, thank goodness I called them. And that is like a soft branding move that when you just hang up before they even set foot in your office, if you can deliver an exceptional experience to a prospective patient who now has an appointment, all you need to do is make good on the promise that all of your marketing has made. That's it. And so it's just like all these little steps. But marketing is the front, then comes sales, and then comes actual delivery of care.
Delivery, right. And so I want to pile on to what you said. So and this is what's great, and this is why I say marketing and sales are two roommates sharing a one bedroom apartment. And by the way, they both have their own bed.
We have
They
a
both have their own bed.
we have a visitor here.
I love it. I love New York too, so that's good.
Solomon, can you say hi? Can you say hi?
Hi.
I love New York. Hello. My name's Jerry.
This is my friend Jerry. You can't hear him right now, but you have to trust me that he says he loves New York too. Oh, cool. All right, can you go out there with the dog? Take Zelda. Zelda.
Hello. Can I have some poop?
Right.
God bless. God bless.
Head out, buddy.
Dad,
Yeah. I see you. Do you
Don't
see you?
forget one of the most viral videos ever was when the kid came in
Hi.
to the interview. What's up, my friend?
Hi, I thought.
Okay, go see mommy. She's got something for you. Hold on. Go see mommy.
God bless real life.
Dad, when are you gonna get out of the office?
I'll be here soon.
People buy from brands.
I'll be out very soon.
They can align with emotionally, and people buy from brands they can align with emotionally. And kids sell, so that's great.
I mean, I don't know what he was selling. I'm pretty sure he offered you some poop.
God bless them.
Look, I swear we're safe. If you wanted to come over for dinner, I promise you we're not going to be serving poop.
Yeah, that's good.
That was
good.
Solomon's debut. Sorry, Jerry. What were we talking about
No,
again?
sorry. This idea of marketing and sales being roommates, sharing the same bedroom with two twin beds, right? They're just interacting all day. And so when you share about this journey and everything else, right? So when someone gets on a call and I say, how did you hear about us, right? Well, what did you see? Well, what's important to you? So my thing is you got to check 5 boxes, right? So on this sales call, I, as a salesperson, have to ask better questions and listen so that I can get my 5 boxes checked. By the way, that has nothing to do with the business side of things. But by the way, at the same time, we can take care of the business side, but the focus has to be on them in these 5 boxes. If we can check these 5 boxes, then I can say at the end, so Seth, based on what we spoke about, based on the fact that we have the right expert for you, based on the fact that you agree that we are the right fit for you, You understand what's going to happen on that first visit. You understand that you'll get that plan of care. You understand that it will be whatever, insurance based or cash based. What would you like to do next? Right. And that's what I love to get to. And I tell everybody the objective of a sales call from my world is making sure that everybody knows and has all the information they need to make the best choice for themselves at this point in time with the journey they are on. And it may be with you and it may be not. But back to what you said, if we manage this right, if we align the marketing, if we align the expectations, if we do all of this, then we know when they say yes, they are absolutely the right person to be on the schedule who's going to arrive, pay, and stay. This is the person we want to do business with. And again,
But I
it's
think,
aligning all of it.
but that's the alignment of the sales process, and that's just an effective sales operation, right?
Yeah.
When you
But then
can
feeds into
manage it.
everything else, but connected to
Sure.
marketing, and then is going to be connected to retention, right? So right, it's a sales. That's that other thing. It's got to be marketing plus sales, and let's face it, plus retention, right?
Yeah,
And
but
those three teams should
the
always be talking.
I loved your analogy of the two being roommates. And I think that while, especially in healthcare, everything is siloed. And there's some like overflow from one to another, but these silos need to be integrated at every stage. And I think there's so much value to be driven when sales and marketing can be good roommates and can do the dishes for each other and can like stock the fridge because they know what they like, and it's not like well, this is ours, you stay out of this is ours over here, and you do, when sales knows what marketing is doing, sales can do their job better and vice versa,
100%.
right?
100%. I've
The
always said
expect
the best way to improve your conversion rate is to work more closely with marketing.
100%. But just like take the divider down, right? And let it kind of spill over and just kind of like, I guarantee that if your sales ops knew more about what marketing was happening, they would do a better job. If your marketing knew what sales process was, like they might be able to add some critical insight in terms of like, and it's not like we'll stay in your lane marketing, we're sales over here, but that's not what it is. We're all on the same team, right? And we can all help each other. I think my favorite part is setting the expectation. Everything in the sales ops must maintain complete clarity and then end with a choice. And once the patient gets to choose, if they're not bought into it, they will no show. If they are not fully
So they will
sold,
drop off, right? And
yeah.
this is that
And
whole mentality around just get everybody on the schedule. It's like, no.
and patients do not care. Patients don't care that it's important to you to know where they came in from, but it can be handled tactfully and professionally, casually, and like, look, man, all I know is I'm in pain and someone told me that I needed PT and I don't know, I saw your thing somewhere and I don't know, what does it matter? If you listen to them and let them tell their story, they're going to soften up and they're going to lean in and they're going to be like, well, that's great. I'm looking forward to my consult. I'm looking forward to my appointment. I'm going to be there and be bought in.
Um,
Was
yeah,
that the moment?
marketing,
Was that the sales and marketing
plus,
moment?
yeah, marketing plus sales. Well, I think this is a good spot. We had we had a good break in between. But I want people just to start thinking about marketing and sales and the overflow and working together and hearing what we said and these words. It's important, right? In sales, right? I'm creating a tool currently, and sales is going to be using its data it collects to immediately live update the marketing team. So I want the
God, I love that.
marketing team to know that we just had 5 people who agreed to a plan of care that came from reading the bio page on the website. We have a person who just showed up from one of our top referral sources in the city we're in, right? I want them to know that immediately so that again, this interwovenness and this overlap is just both teams are feeding each other all day long, which serves who ultimately? Our clients, our customers, our patients.
100%. And I love that it's real time and it kind of gets people pumped up as it happens, I think that that's so critical because, like, you know, when things happen in a vacuum, it's just like, well, I don't know. It's like, whatever. Or
Right.
like 2 weeks
Or
ago, we
waiting
had a
till the
thing.
end
Oh,
of the
that's
month
great.
and end of month report. I'm like, in September of 2025. No, I want to end a day that at least people are looking at right at the end of the week.
And
So
things are
I,
happening.
right.
Yeah.
And I want, this is the other thing, Seth, and you said this, and I see it in other industries too, is this marketing and sales should be meeting weekly, right? Meeting every Monday, every Friday. I like Fridays because then there's the debrief to head into the next week, not Monday looking back, but Friday looking back. So we're ready on Monday.
Right.
And using this for good and not evil. And by the way, there's going to be great feedback. It's interesting. Just one quick example. You know, when people in physical therapy first started doing community events and workshops, I was talking to some companies that were helping people develop the workshops, and they had clients coming back going, these aren't successful. And I go, how are they measuring success? They go, scheduled patients. And I go, well, how many leads did they get? Oh, they got 50 leads. I'm like, that's not a marketing issue, friends. That sounds like a sales issue, right? So it's like, where does this work together, right? So the tracking of the sales team back to the marketing team, and the marketing team to go, wait, you got 30 leads. What's the issue here, right? And there needs to be a conversation to solve that problem. So
Yeah, I love that. And also, like, likewise, and I don't know how relevant it is to dealing with patients, but from a sales perspective, in a B2B scenario, I implemented a couple years ago. I started sending clients just a brief 3-question questionnaire
yeah,
before we started working together,
yeah,
just based off of our sales calls and just the back and forth and our disco discovery. Also, in some cases, our actual disco dancing, because it's got to be fun, right?
good.
So the results from these questionnaires, and it was just it was like, what's the one problem that we are going to solve for you? What's one thing that we will do for you to make your job easier? And this is in the case where we're dealing with a marketing director internal at a practice, and we're just kind of a vendor position. And what we got from this questionnaire, very simple, was a total reframing of our own marketing in terms of like what our value props should be based on what we can deliver. And the perception of our clients and feeding it back to us was like this big eye opener that was just untapped information that, if you don't ask, you're never going to get it. Even if you ask, you might not get it. But if you get it, it can be really impactful. And I love that story just because, the information that we can get from our prospective patients, from an MQL, from a SQL, from a lead, in terms of like look, there's nothing worse in my mind as a patient than being in pain, sitting in a waiting room asking, well, how did you hear about us? Like on some clipboard with
know,
some
dude.
borrowed pen.
I
Like,
know,
it's like,
right?
I don't get, like, stop. Like, it's like silly. And like, I don't know. And even worse, if you give me a list of all of your marketing, channels, that it's like, I mean, I don't know. Sure.
I'm going to sign up for a webinar online. How'd you hear about us? I'm like, why don't you just deliver something and let me talk about you, right? I mean,
Right.
my God.
Right. I don't know. But look, that whole attribution gap is, the white whale, that elusive white whale. Sometimes.
So it's funny. We're going to end with this. I ask all of my potential clients, because I'm a sales guy. First question I ask, tell me about your marketing. Do you have the leads? Right? So you want me to come in and help with sales. Do you have the leads that can make an impact in your business? Where are your leads coming from? And if they can't answer any of that, I send them to a marketing person, by the way, Seth. And I say, look, I can help you with the sales process and I can build it out. But if you don't have the leads, you're going to fire me and tell me I wasn't helpful. So let's look at this together. So again, this marketing plus sales is the takeaway here. And I think this is a lot of good things. By the way, our podcast dropped today. So if you happen to be seeing this on September 17th, there's a podcast Seth and I put together that discussed a lot of this. But we're just going to be jumping on here and doing about 15 minutes, 10 minutes, and talking maybe some specifics, maybe staying high level. So I appreciate you all watching this, if anybody's here. Seth, mostly I appreciate you for agreeing to do this because this is my happy place, dude.
I can tell you really thrive here. And Jerry, I love you and I love your style, and I love the solution that you provide. And I feel like it's critical in order for small healthcare organizations to not just survive but to actually thrive.
And then the two of us together again, and this is the second time today I've used this. It's Wonder Twin Powers. We're awesome. We're powerful individually, but marketing plus sales is the Wonder Twin Powers activated. So I'm going to stick with that. So thank you, everyone. Don't go anywhere. I'm going to hit stop, and we will be back next week. Cheers, all.
Cheers.